Right now, with the new modifiers in Year 8, Season 1, I've pushed this build to over 440% headshot damage, and it's literally one-shotting enemies on Legendary difficulty, as you can see. Now, it's been in the game for a while where you can one-shot enemies, but this allows you to one-shot enemies consistently and literally rewards you for getting headshots. Like that Chunga there, you break his helmet, and I'm hitting him in the head again, and he's dead. One more, same thing here. One shot in the head, and the Chunga's dead. This is legendary difficulty, and this build is for new players, old players. Veteran players might already know about this, but with the modifiers and the current event that's going on, I think it's pretty fun, and you guys should give it a shot. Play with it more because rather than your typical controversial metas where you're just building up stacks constantly, this gives you that different playstyle. And also, it works on your aim. For me, I don't have the best aim in this game, but I feel nice when I'm hitting 60 mil in the head, and it feels good to be rewarded for having good aim. And that's exactly what this build emphasizes. So in this video, we'll be going over the build, how to play this, and everything you need to know, alternatives. Like I said, I'm catering it towards all sorts of players, new or veterans to the game. So if you're excited for this build video, like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate all the support, and let's get into the video. Now, it's important to talk about the use cases and the gameplay loop before we jump into the specifics of what to rock and what to use and the whole setup. And I just want to emphasize that this build is useful, guys. Now, I don't expect you to use this in escalation, if I'm being completely honest, because when there's something that's not an enemy, for example, a warhound or a drone or whatever, a sniper build isn't really going to be able to snipe a warhound effectively. So don't get at me in the comments for saying that, hey, this isn't even good for escalation. Well, it might be, maybe up to like tier 3 or 4, but please, yeah, just don't use this in escalation. Like I said, it's more for fun. It's more for that feeling, rewarding you for hitting headshots. If you just want a different playstyle that's effective. For example, enemies stay back a lot, especially on legendary difficulty, or they, don't peek too often, or they get suppressed. The best solution to that is to have a sniper on your team that can literally just take care of those types of enemies for you and your team to kind of speed up your mission, because otherwise you'd just be waiting for enemy AI to sometimes be unpredictable, where they'll stay suppressed, they'll barely peek, and you can't just rush towards them because you'll get deleted pretty much instantly. So now that I made that clear, now you guys know. And of course, the build will be linked in the comments, the full outline, but I'm going to go through everything starting now. So the first most important thing is we're trying to achieve maximum headshot damage because that's the only thing we're aiming for, as you can see. So what are we using that benefits that the most? Well, for starters, we need the hot shot gear set. 4-piece hot shot gear set is very effective because the 2-piece gives you marksman rifle damage and 30% weapon handling, which helps for someone like me who isn't the best at aiming. The 3-piece gives you plus 30% headshot damage, and the 4-piece gives you the gear set's talent. So once you have 4 pieces of hot shot equipped, you get the talent headache. First headshot with a marksman rifle will increase the next headshot by 20%. Second consecutive headshot with a marksman rifle will give plus 10% armor. If at full armor, it will give bonus armor max plus 50% of current armor value. Third consecutive shot will refill the magazine. From the fourth headshot forward, agents will get all 3 bonuses for each consecutive headshot kill. Missing a headshot will reset the cycle. So it's the perfect playstyle because it's rewarding you for getting headshots, and that is the entire gameplay loop that we're trying to enforce here, right? And the beauty of it is it also gives you some additional armor, which is helpful when you're trying to kind of peak more and you're getting shot at the same time, if that makes sense. So that is your 4 pieces of hot shot, but you're going to leave your backpack slot and your chest piece slot open because that's where you rock Hasberg. Now, Hasberg, the brand set, rocking 2 pieces of it is going to give you both marksman rifle damage and headshot damage, which is exactly what we want because it's furtherly going to improve our damage for our headshot only playstyle. Also, because it's a chest piece and backpack, we get the benefit of having talents. On the backpack, for starters, the best talent to have in slot for this build is Vigilance, because you're just going to get added 25% bonus damage for pretty much doing nothing. And that is definitely the best thing to use, because you're already sitting back anyways and you're just waiting for enemies to pop their head out so you can snipe their head out. And then for the chest piece, we're rocking Headhunter. Now, if you're a risky player and you think you're very, very skilled at the game and you want to further challenge, I would say you can rock the Perfect Sacrifice, the Providence chest piece. However, in this case, we're just going to stick to the Hasbrig chest piece with Headhunter. Headhunter, once again, is just going hand in hand with the Hotshot gear set, because it's also allowing you to, basically chain kill headshots, and the more headshots you do, the more damage you're gonna do to the next shot. So that is basically the gear pieces in itself, but I'm just gonna also put this up on the screen so you can have that full overview. Like I said, click the link in the below, it'll lead you to a Google Doc that shows screenshots of every single thing in detail so you don't have any questions. Anyways, next thing to talk about is the modifiers, because everything I talked about up to this point has been in the game. So what makes this build different now in this current moment? Well, with the Deadeye Overdrive event, you're getting 60% extra headshot damage to make you have 500% headshot damage for the first time in Division 2. But you're reaching that 500 because of the Year 8 Season 1 modifiers, which is the recombinant modifier. So we have to go over that setup, because that setup alone is giving us another plus 129% headshot damage. So I'm just gonna throw up these modifiers on screen. Make sure you use your BTSU firmware or whatever the currency is at the White House beside the specialization station, and you purchase these specific modifiers and you want to combine them as I did over here on screen. You'll get that extra headshot damage, but you'll also get that nice armor, so it's also promoting your survivability. And while you're at it with the modifiers, go ahead and change your specialization to the TAC 50 sniper rifle specialization. This is the best because of one in the head, and this is a talent or perk in the specialization which gives you increased headshot damage for your rifles and marksman rifles, allowing for precision kills. Well, we talked about everything in the setup, but what guns are you rocking? Well, I saved it for the end, because the beauty of this build, guys, is there's different options. My personal favorite for consistency that I've used in most of these clips is the Nemesis, and that is honestly going to be the most consistent the higher difficulty you go. However, in this current footage, I'm using the SR1 replica sniper that you can craft at the White House with the talent of Determined, allowing me to shoot any enemy in the body or in the head, it doesn't matter. But once you get that first headshot, every kill or every bullet will be a headshot. And then the third option is the Shroud. So these are all the three top options for this build, and I think with any other ones too that you feel comfortable with or you have unlocked currently in the game, you can easily just rock it and you'll be doing insane headshot damage to make up for it anyways. So choose what you like. That's the beauty of it, that's the build diversity of it, and that's pretty much the build video, guys. So I hope you enjoyed this build video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate your support as always, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.